Hello again, everyone, and welcome to One-on-One. I'm Martin Falls, and we have a very special guest today. And if you've ever wondered when you could eat at the table, when's the right time to eat, and a little bit about etiquette, when you could use your cell phone, what do you say to the waiters and the waitresses when they're waiting on you? Don't go away. When we come back from the break, we're going to try to teach you a little bit of all that. Well, I'm not going to teach you, but she will. And Mary Berg Chauvin is our guest. It's right after the break.
One-on-One is brought to you by the Law Office of Waits and Downer.
All right, joining me is Mary Berg Chauvin, and I know a lot of you have heard the name. Y'all know her, because everybody knows Mary around town. Good to see you, Mary.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You are one of the best-known people, always smiling, and I want you to take me back. Let's paint a picture. I want you, now I've been knowing you for a long time. You were a class above me. You're an upperclassman. So we'll say that. Take me back to the earliest years you can remember. What was it like? Where were you born? Paint a little picture.
You want to start way back.
Yeah. Okay.
Born at Terrebonne General.
All right. Okay.
In 1959. My mom and dad were living in Lockport. But we were born in Terrebonne General, came back to Lockport. My little sister Beth was born 13 months after me. We stayed in Lockport till I was in second grade. And then we moved to Houma, and I started third grade in Houma.
I never knew you were born in Lockport.
Immaculata. Yeah, I went to Holy Savior. Beth, I used to walk to school barefoot.
Really?
Not true.
And then uphill.
Yeah.
And then back home uphill.
Yeah, right. In the snow.
So your dad worked in Lockport?
So my dad's from Lockport.
I never knew that.
The Bayou. Mm-hmm.
See, that's why we do the show.
What I love about that, and I still to this day, because I'm in the community so much now, is that I love to say I'm a Lafourche girl and a Terrebonne girl. So I have both bayous running through my blood.
That's what we have in common.
And I love
that. I was
that.
born in Thibodeau.
Yeah.
I bet your dad knew my Uncle Jared Leonard, who was in Lockport.
I'm sure.
Still in Lockport.
Really?
My Aunt Miriam, yeah. So, well, there you go. That's good information. So, what did he do in Lockport?
So my grandfather had businesses, and so my daddy worked for his daddy.
Okay.
Boat businesses.
Yeah.
And barge businesses.
Now wait, where was your mama from?
So my mom's from Houma.
So she went out.
And so they moved to Houma. Yeah.
Isn't that the way it normally works?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. And we'll talk about your mom. Such a great person. You know, I see you get a lot of your mannerisms.
People tell me that. I don't really see it, but people tell me that.
You do. So continue taking me down the road. So early years of Lockport, and then you moved to Houma. Do you remember the move?
Oh, yeah. I remember the move because I remember I didn't like it. I wanted to stay in Lockport. And then we got here, and then a year later, my mama had my little sister T.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Teresa, we call her T.
Right. Your family is so well connected. You'll never meet strangers. I've noticed that about all of y'all. Of course, Beth graduated with me. And she never met a stranger. Now, I know T well enough, but I don't know her like I knew y'all two. She seems like she never meets a stranger. Where'd y'all get that?
I must say it's more on the Berg side, personality more on that side.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say that that's where that is. My Papa Berg, he was very much a business person and outgoing. That's the way I see him and I saw him. So I'm going to say that's where we got it. There's something he told me, I'll just share this too, because I remember I was fixing to go to LSU, and I remember him telling me before I moved, he said, now this is before cell phones, this is, not a whole lot of communication. He said, make a friend everywhere you go. That was his advice to me. He said, that way if you ever need anything, you have somebody you can call anywhere. You will have a contact anywhere. And I have taken that tip all the way to this day. Yeah. So everywhere I go, I make friends.
That is great
My
advice.
goal is to make friends.
You've done that. You made 100 friends everywhere you go.
That's what I do.
Yeah. Well, I'd imagine now you were trying to figure out where your mom's from. She's probably from Berg.
And me some of Chauvin.
Yeah.
We have some Chauvin too.
So, there you go. You got the bayous
The
covered.
bayous are covered.
Lockport and Chauvin and Berg or whatever.
For all of your cases, including those with catastrophic significance, call Waits and Downer Law Firm.
I know your mama better than I knew your dad.
Right.
And your dad growing up. Most of the men sort of kept to
Right.
themselves and would sit down in the house and watch their favorite Hogan's Heroes reruns. Your mama was such a person that never met a stranger either. Were you conscious of that as a young child?
No, I was not. In fact, just recently, I'm doing some trainings with Fletcher and with the nursing department and the allied health department, and I just found out, my mom told me this, so we had just moved to Houma. She was in her second year at Fletcher of nursing school. Okay, so this is, you just don't really realize this. This is why I'm sharing this. Anyway, she was fixing to graduate from nursing school. So she graduated, first graduating class at Fletcher. She walked across the stage, pregnant for my little sister T, and had her the next morning. And
Really?
yeah, and that's so cool.
Yeah.
And so no, I was a little girl. I never really knew the impact of that or the importance of that. And then she went on, of course, to have her own business and whatnot, but totally went out on a limb and, always did different things and went out and did stuff. And so I think that's where we definitely get that. I definitely get that.
Your mom's legendary too. I think you know that.
Yeah.
She's legendary. She's helped a lot of people. Of course, your family likes to cut up and joke a lot. And that's why I mentioned Beth early on in the show, because if I had not mentioned her, my phone would be ringing. She'd go, Mark, you didn't mention my name. So, Beth, we mentioned your name. T, we mentioned your name. So, anyway, you take that. Tell me about who were your friends growing up? Who influenced you along the way?
Oh, my good Lord. Oh, my gosh. So kind of, I kind of went through different friend stages as I was going. I was that kind of person. And so at Mary Immaculata, I had friends. Lisa Collins was actually one of my really good friends, and she actually just passed.
I know.
And then I went to St. Francis, and oh my gosh, they had so many children at St. Francis. So then I befriended a bunch of people there. Then we go to Vanderbilt, and then there's a whole nother group there.
Right. So
I have a wide variety.
You probably had
I did.
families of friends.
I did, and ages.
Yeah.
Ages.
Yeah, I could see
And
that.
I really I used to kind of befriend even the teachers and the administrative team that I would be doing stuff with them too.
Right. But you do that well. And I want to tell the audience that anything that you question in etiquette, Mary's the one to help you along. So, okay, that's your business, but you do so many things. Like at Terrebonne General, you're contracted with Terrebonne General, right?
Correct.
So what do you do at Terrebonne General? Give us an example.
Right. So Terrebonne General hired me in 2009. They contracted my services in 2009 to do basic training, manners training with all their employees. And so before doing that, I was a school teacher, right? And so I was teaching with little children, and I'm really not a person who likes hospitals at all, or physicians. I mean, I love all physicians and whatnot, but oh my gosh, that's like a world that I really felt like I never belonged in. And so, but they asked me to go do this, and I was scared to death to go do it. And they said, well, you could break it into little groups. And I thought, okay, let me go try. Well, that was in 2009, and I'm still there. Right. And so once I trained all the employees, they were like, oh my gosh, we need new employees to hear how to behave at work, like what is expected behaviors and stuff like that. And so I did that for 16 years. I did orientation for new employees there for 16 years. I recently just transitioned into doing more of another job there, which goes along with what you were just talking about, me being such a people person. And so now I am their regional relations coordinator, which really in old-fashioned terms, means I'm the PR person for Chauvin General. I get to go out to all the bayous and go to events and meet people and
Because I see you at the events,
Oh yeah, I'm everywhere. I
You're
love it.
You're perfect for that.
I love it.
Yeah, you really are perfect.
I love it.
For all of your cases, including those with catastrophic significance, call Waits and Downer Law Firm.
When did you get this bell going off in your head that one day you said, I need to teach people about etiquette? When was it? Was that just one situation that triggered that?
No,
or was there a multitude?
A couple.
Okay.
So I was teaching school, and I still consider myself an early childhood specialist. So here I am teaching little children, and I was teaching school over the course of about 20 years. Okay, at this point, and so I'm noticing as the kids are coming in, the groups are coming in. I'm noticing, God, something's missing. Something was missing with in the kids, the behavior of the kids. It just wasn't the same. And then I was like, oh my gosh, like they would run into people and not say, excuse me, where they used to say that. They used to say, please. They used to say, thank you. I had to start teaching that. And so I was like, God, they weren't getting basic home training.
Right.
That's what I'm
going to say. In the home.
Well, the culture's changing.
Yeah.
Cultures are changing. The moms used to stay home when I was growing up. Then my mom went to work. So who raised us? Our grandmother. And now the grandmothers are still working. I'm one of them. And so anyway, so I was like, God, something's going on. Something's going on. And I kind of took note of that. And then my daughter Melanie. So for those of you who know Melanie, my daughter Melanie, when she was in 8th grade, had her first date with BJ Cavalier, who I know BJ's mama and daddy. And they came, I had her all dressed as 8th grade, band dance, and she was all ready and pretty and ready to go. And she walks, and BJ came to get her, and she was walking out and very independent, like her mother taught her to be independent. And she was walking to the corridor in front of BJ, and BJ, I was watching this, and I watched BJ almost trip over himself to get to the corridor. And I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot to tell her to let him do that, to let him open the corridor. They were going to dinner, let him pull out the chair. His mom and daddy obviously had taught him that. And I forgot to teach my daughter to let that happen. So then I I was in a panic. So then I was like, I need to send her somewhere, an etiquette school somewhere. We used to have that when I was growing up. Remember Miss Pay? Was it Miss Pay? Yeah, it was at Dillard. She used to do it. So anyway, I even called her. She said she didn't do it anymore. I looked around, couldn't find a place. It was so heavy on my mind. I must have talked about it for a long time, because then my husband finally says, George says, Mary, why don't you do it? And I went, of course. I can do that. I know I can teach. And I know I've already written a curriculum. I was writing curriculums. I can do that. I know I can do that. So then I found an etiquette school. And this was in 2003. And I went to etiquette school. It was called the Protocol School of Washington. And I flew up to Portland, Maine. That's where the school was. And I was so scared that I cried all the way there on the airplane.
Wow.
And a lady handed me a little holy medal when I left, honey, everything's going to be okay. Like, she didn't even know. And I was like, oh, I'm so scared. And then came back and started my business. And so that's how it started. With little children out of my living room, Martin. And then the business people started saying, hey, would you do this for my businesses? And I started working with business, and I fell in love with big people.
You know, and I'm glad you say that, because I was brought up by Eugene and Lorraine, who, when you talked in that dog, yes, ma'am.
That's right.
No, ma'am. Yes, sir. No, sir. And it's funny, because as I got into business, I'd go see Mr. Dickie Barker or his daddy. And one day, years later, I'm talking to Mr. Dickie. And I said, Mr. Dickie. And I was older.
Right.
And I was established. And he said, Mark, how long have we been doing business with you? I said, a long time. He said, it's Dickie. I said,
can't do it.
It will never just be Dickie to me. It will be Mr. Dickie. And he accepted it. And I see young people today calling their moms and their dads by their first name. And I've even corrected nieces and nephews before and said, you said they call me Martin. Wait, what did you just say? Well, Martin. How about Uncle Martin?
Yeah.
So how tough is that for you to go old school to new school and try to bridge the gap?
That's a good question. And so very much, in fact, that was one of the lessons that I teach when I do the training at the hospitals for new employees, is to call people Mr. or Mrs. and use their last name, because you want to be professional, right? And so it's a professionalism thing, but it's also a respect thing. And so we talk about that, and it's kind of cool that you did that, Morton, because I would say this about that. I would say, like, when I do the training, I say, if somebody says, if you come to my room, I'm in the hospital, you come to my room, you call me Miss Chauvin. That's great. And I say, no, call me Mary. But let's say you say, Miss Mary. You have just bestowed respect on me, but even bigger than that is now I respect you. And so that's the give and take of that. That's the beauty of that and the giftedness in that. And yet the culture is changing. And depends upon where you live too, whether you say yes, ma'am, and yes, sir, anyway. So that's in different cultures within right here in the United States, right? So what I say about that is you have to go with the flow, and behaviors do change, and expected behaviors do change. They do.
Yeah.
Okay, and so I do say that. And I say know when to use it. As long as you know, and if you know when to use it, and you can read people, and you can see what they really prefer, then to be respectful, you go with that.
Something that's never going to change to me is if you go to a restaurant and you have a young lady or a young man waiting on your table, they deserve respect too. So I always tell people, thank you.
Yes.
Please. Please is a big word. And I harp on that almost to the point of being obsessed by it. But see so many people sometimes not saying that, and it drives me up a wall. And I'm going, these people are serving your food. They're trying to make a living. So.
And they work hard.
Yeah, they do. They work hard. So just my pet peeves coming out.
Yeah, and that's okay. And everybody has that. Everybody has something that they like, oh, I wish this was different. So, little things, I mean, there's so much, but little things like picking up the cart at the grocery, putting it where it belongs at the grocery is something.
Mr. Keith Whiteside's daddy, Mr. Whiteside, did a show with Keith one time on. He'd tell people if they leave the buggy laying in the middle of the parking lot, hey, there's somebody got to come get this buggy. Go put that where it belongs.
I love that.
And every time I'm at the grocery store now and I bring the buggy back, I promise you I think of Mr. Whiteside.
Yeah.
So sometimes we have to speak up, right?
Yeah, and so little things like that make a big difference.
Yeah.
And what people really don't realize is that other people are watching you. And so they watch it if you just leave the buggy right there.
Right.
And who knows, that could be a person that is the owner of a company and one day comes in for an interview and that person recognizes that you were the person who left the buggy.
Right.
Or didn't take off your cap, your baseball cap in a fancy restaurant. Right. Or was always on your phone. Oh, I could go on and on, Martin.
Oh, yeah.
I could go on and on.
There's no doubt.
For all of your cases, including those with catastrophic significance, call Waits and Downer Law Firm. This one-on-one program has been brought to you by the law offices of Waits and Downer.